the world's most dangerous fantasy football podcast.
Chef and the professor. Highly disputed. Highly disputed. Let's have a drink and let's talk through it. Hey. Highly disputed. Highly disputed.
What it do from Tampa Bay to the great San Francisco Bay is highly disputed.
Highly disputed.
How we doing?
Middle of the off season. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Highly disputed.
Happy Mother's Day, all our listeners, motherly listeners.
Yeah, and the mothers of all our listeners. You raised them right.
You taught them how to seek out good content.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Your children have good taste. Yeah. What's going on, Professor?
Just hanging out with my cousin out here. Spending getting a little family time. But I've been a road warrior here for a little bit.
Yeah.
Still looking to meet up with my co-host at some point. That might be in Philly. We'll see what happens.
I ain't hard to find.
What about you? You just came off
Oof.
like a crazy work stretch, right?
Oh yeah, Mother's Day and the I'll tell you what, Mother's Day as a back of the house, well, any service industry, you get your ass handed to you on Mother's Day. And it's worth it. I mean, you tell yourself it's worth it, but it's tough.
Yeah.
It's
It's a tough
tough
show. Thank you.
because everybody's special.
Yeah.
Everybody's special.
Yeah. Just Valentine's Day, Mother's Day. Yeah, those are the hard ones.
Let's fucking get to it. The middle of the off season after the draft, there's a lot of news rolling in, but things kind of quieted down. But the grind never sleeps, and you still got to tune in because you look back a couple years ago, guys like Puka Nacua. This is when you could pick them up for very cheap. So if you're doing your homework and staying dialed in, there's gonna be some opportunities.
Yeah. Agreed.
And before we get too much into the NFL news, this is the best time of the year for NBA, NHL playoffs. And Professor, your Knickerbockers making a statement, breaking out the broom.
The sweep.
Out of here.
Shout out to my New York Knicks. Shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers. Just didn't have
Yeah.
enough this year, but, never want to discount your opponent. And they did beat the Boston Celtics, who are typically a very formidable team. I think this is the next year. I know that OKC has a great team as well. They also, they haven't even lost in the playoffs, but the Knicks have won 7 straight. So it's going to be great.
And they're not just winning. And I know
Oh, no.
Oklahoma City isn't, but they're dominating.
And at an unprecedented level for the franchise, which has been around for a long time. But yeah, my Knicks, unfortunately, I'm going to have to watch them in Cleveland or Detroit if I want to go to a live game because tickets for MSG right now for just to get in are
Let's
north
talk
of
about it.
$1,000. I'm
Yeah.
not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Knicks fan. Come on now. This economy, what are you doing?
So I saw footage from the away game in Philly, and it sounded like a home game for the Knicks because it's probably cheaper to take the train on
Way
down
cheaper.
there.
Way cheaper. I think I was seeing those tickets for like $250, $100, and same series at home. The Knicks were or in New York was like $500, $600. But yeah, for the Eastern Conference Finals, it's a whole different level.
Tonight at 10:30 my time, 7:30 your time might be last time we see LeBron James in a Lakers uniform. Talking about OKC, but all our listeners out there, they're savvy futures investors. We told you to get on the Knicks at plus 1,600. I'm sure the odds dropped a bit, but I think people have OKC as the heavy favorite, but anything can happen.
And we are a big futures bet here. Here's the other thing, though. What I'll say is, if it's OKC Knicks and the Knicks go down 0-2, might be another good time to put the future bet in because OKC people just think they're not going to lose, right? No matter how much the Knicks are dominating, it's like because here's my thing: is like, yes, OKC is dominating. Are the Lakers better than some of the teams that the Knicks have beat? I'm not sure about that. Because
I mean,
I'm
not
not sure.
without Luca, right?
Yeah, without Luka, I'm not sure if I'm not sure the Lakers without Luka would have beat the Celtics, who the 76ers beat, right? So it's like, I think you make
Right.
the futures bet based off of the information in front of you, but there'll be another opportunity to invest.
Also, you got to consider once you hit the championship, I'll bet like that's been so elusive for the Knicks, and just the impact it will have on Manhattan and the entire city of New York. That's uncalculable variable. Everybody expects in OKC. They're not going to bring the same energy. And we've seen this. Anything can happen in a championship game. I know it's a series, but, we watched Nick Foles beat the fucking Patriots. Super teams are meant to lose. And New York's hungry. They're hungry. Yeah. Speaking of New York, let's stay right in the great city. The greatest city in the world.
Well, you don't want to talk some NHL real quick?
Yeah, so I don't want to harp on Philadelphia, but we harped on Boston, and I think it's fair. Tough week for Philly. Got swept by the Knicks, and then got swept by the Carolina Hurricanes. Flyers, nice little run. Carolina seems to be in it pretty late, but the Buffalo Sabres, Montreal Canadiens, that's been a fucking series. And both those squads are set up to be a problem for a long time. And they got some young studs. All those early first rounders from sucking for so long have started to pay off. So that'll be interesting. I haven't really been dialed into what's happening in the West. Looks like Anaheim won again. Okay, it's tied up. I like Anaheim. Talk about underdog team. And we thought the Ducks would be hanging around.
Yeah. And I like Buffalo. They're doing it for New York right now.
Yeah. But people in Buffalo too they're hungry for one.
Yeah, the Bills haven't been doing too much, so they're hungry.
Yeah.
But speaking of New York,
yes, that's what we're saying. Your dude,
a guy who should be, it's not really a buy low opportunity anymore because it's keys. Breece Hall, and let me tell you, the Jets are a QB away from having potentially one of the best offenses in the league.
Yes.
Right? I mean, just you re-signed Breece Hall, which whatever you want to say is good. Their own line wasn't horrible. Hasn't really been horrible for the past couple of years. There's been some injuries. But you have Breece, you have Garrett Wilson, right? You just drafted Kenyon Sadiq. You have Mason Tate still from last year who flashed.
And your guy, Omar Cooper Jr.
Right. And you still have Adonai Mitchell from last year who was just getting open, cooking people all over the place. So their skill positions really, and you have Braylon Allen as a backup RB, like really, really good there. It's really just a QB situation. So if Geno Smith can have another kind of one hit wonder year that he had, prior years, we'll see what happens. So, but I think this is great for Breece Hall. There's so many skill players on the outside that they can't stack the box on him. And he got a contract. So now, they're going to feature him. I think he might be getting, outside of Garrett Wilson, I think he's the highest paid skill player right now.
He's the NFL's third highest paid running back. So it was a three-year deal. Worth up to $45.75 million.
Yeah, and CMC's getting paid more, and probably Derrick Henry, or no, Saquon, CMC and Saquon. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but what people forget about Breece Hall, and I remember him at Iowa State. He played with Brock Purdy. Fucking lit it up in college. He was, Dynasty community was all in on him. He was born in 2001. He's 24 years old. There's guys coming out of the draft right now at 24.
Yeah. And he had that one injury after the rookie season. So he doesn't, he missed a little time. He doesn't have all the miles.
So only Saquon and CMC are ahead of Breece Hall now.
Yep.
And, you're talking about Geno Smith. Maybe I said this last show. The Jets are stacking this offense for whatever quarterback they're going to go pick.
Next year.
A year from now. And that's why this being a 3-year extension, I believe, it keeps him on the team window. 3 more years from now. If he, the best case scenario is he dips a little out of the start and you can buy him low. But I think, absolutely right. His buy low window,
it's gone.
It's gone. I
mean,
think he averaged
18
points per game last year, I believe. He for whatever reason, people are very down on him, but because
he's on the Jets,
right? But still putting up numbers. on one of the worst
got you.
teams in the league. And like you said, they've made significant steps to hopefully increase their production on offense.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Yeah. And Garrett Wilson coming back, Omar Cooper Jr., Adonai
Kenyon
Mitchell.
Sadiq.
Yeah, Kenyon Sadiq coming to the team, and now they locked down their franchise running back. I don't know much about their offensive line or how that looks, but I assume it's okay
Yeah, it's okay.
because you usually don't stack up on skill positions unless you got your O-line shored up. But congratulations to Breece. It's hard for running backs to get paid, and he deserves it. And hopefully the Knicks can set a example for the Jets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, both offenses are looking pretty stacked in the Big Apple. All right. So just arrows up for Breece. That's your takeaway on this?
Arrows up for Breece. If you have him, do not trade him. If you don't have him, try to send an offer like a late first. But like, he's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy.
You're not gonna be the third highest paid RB. I mean, look at the other RBs that got paid like that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley.
Right, and as you like to remind me, both those guys are getting pretty old, and Breece Hall is under 25, making that kind of number. Like when in doubt,
he might have a third contract. He might get a third contract
for sure. If it's only 3, he'll be 27. He'll sign a deal like Saquon or CMC going to a contender to finish his career out. But I think if you're trying to acquire him, maybe wait for this year and like see if the Jets are really just going to stink it up and try to tank for a good quarterback. I know you said the coaching staff's coaching for their job, but I think their job right now might be to tank.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of see how it plays out. But yeah, now would not be the time to try to acquire him. Yeah. All right. Other news that just broke, David Njoku, he's headed to Los Angeles, the Chargers. It's a 1 year, $1 million kind of prove it deal. I don't really know how I feel about this because big friend of the podcast, Ande Gatson. Like we loved him. We were bummed we didn't draft him. I just don't see he's just gonna cut into his production. I just kind of hate it for both of them. I mean, I get it from an actual NFL perspective, but I kind of hate it from a fantasy perspective.
I actually disagree. I think Aranda is going to be very similar to Harold Fannin last year in the sense that like Njoku was the other tight end, and clearly, right? I would say I guess there's more offensive weapons on the Chargers, but not like a ton more than the Browns. Meaning that there's enough targets for Njoku to be relevant, but he's not going to be the tight end that you want. You want Aranda, and I don't think he's going to cut into Aranda's production. I think Aranda is going to have a better year, even with David Njoku coming, than he did last year. And if there's a buy low tight end, I would buy Aranda. If the Aranda manager even thinks that David Njoku is going to ruin part of that for him, go get him for the cheap. Because
that's a great take.
Yeah, the two tight end.
Yeah.
The NFL is going that way, right? So just pay attention. There's always the receiving guy, and then the all-encompassing utility guy. Chicago did it first. They got Komet, and then they got Colson Loveland. By the way, Colson Loveland led the Bears in receiving last year. Not Rome Odunze, not Luther Burden, not DJ Moore, right? And then the Browns did it with Harold Fannin and Njoku. And the Rams ran a bunch of multiple tight end sets. They're gonna be doing that as well. And now I think the Jets are gonna do that. So you're gonna have Mason Taylor, who's gonna be the all around guy, and then Kenyon Sadiq is gonna be kind of that receiving big slot guy. So the NFL is going. I said this for a couple of years. It's the smart thing to do because it's way cheaper to pay a receiving type tight end than a wide receiver too. T. Higgins more than Travis Kelce ever made in his career, and it's going to continue to be like that. Travis Kelce even complained to the Chiefs and said, pay me like a receiver, getting 1,000 yards. And they're like, no, you're a tight end.
Right. And T. Higgins can't, I mean, all due respect to T. Higgins, he can't block a linebacker on a running play the way even a tight end too is going to be able to. But yeah, I think you're right. I think, if you look at what the Chargers are kind of doing there, again, they got a new offensive coordinator, former Miami Dolphins head coach, Mike McDaniel. And, I think he's going to cook. We were a fan of Mike on this show. We said he needed an OC job. Maybe the head coach was a little too much for him, but yeah, just get him up there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's that's good to me. That he's one of those guys that is a great offensive coordinator. I think Arande's arrow is up. I'd be trying to acquire him. So
Yeah, and that's a great takeaway because I know people are trying to sell David Njoku with the it's like sell the news. Yeah, maybe have some foresight. I think my initial reaction was like, this is bad for him, and you definitely talked me out of that. And they didn't really add much. They got that guy they got the burner out of Mississippi State, the guy who ran the fastest 40 this year, Thompson. I think they got him in the fourth. Didn't really add a lot at wide out.
no,
Who's my dude with the beard who Keenan Allen? Yeah, Keenan Allen. He's probably not. Do you think he's going to play next year?
He's got dropped in one of our leagues, so I don't think so.
Quinshon Johnson, Lad McConkey, neither one of them really, Lad's flash, but like, you're right. This is going to be a run the ball, 2 tight end, like play action with Herbert offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Njoku will have some utility, but Rondé Gadsden's going to be the tight end you want.
But 1 year, $8 million. This is not a long-term deal for him. This is a go prove it to get that 3rd or 4th contract. All right. 2 other things. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't shown up he was supposed to be meeting with Pittsburgh, I believe over the weekend. Apparently it came out he did not show up. I mean, what does he need to meet with them? He played all year. I mean, I guess it's a new coaching staff, but he knows this.
He knows him.
I feel like he does this shit he's been doing this shit every year for the last 6 years.
Kind of disrespectful at this point.
Right, but it's also his modus operandi.
I will say, although he's not ready, I would be trying to get some Drew Aller.
Yeah. So let's talk a little Drew Aller, because I watched some of his drills in minicamp. It looks like he's fucking running cement out there. His footwork it's trash. It's trash. But if Mike McCarthy, and I've kind of fucking joked about him on this show a few times, but he's out there one-on-one with him, and they're working on it. They're working on it. And, there's been a lot of stuff coming out that Penn State didn't do Drew Aller any services during his playing time with them. And this was a guy who was, people are looking ahead to next year's class, and as they should be. But people forget a lot of shit can happen during the course of a college football season. This time last year, Drew Aller was, first round. First round. Like, people had him circled.
And same thing with Aaron Nussmeier. And the quarterback that the Jets just took.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, from Clemson.
Not our guy Cole Payton or whatever, but the other one they took. Yeah, really, this is a really weak quarterback class, I think.
Klubnik.
Yeah. But again, I think this is a good time, and you've seen me do this. I'm taking advantage. Like, if people haven't been doing their homework, I'll straight up send a 2027 in exchange to go get the pick I want, because people are like, oh, it's just going to be a great class. So it's like,
you don't know.
But for me, 1 in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And doing this show with you, it's like, I know who the fuck all these guys are now, and like, I'd rather get in there and take the pick, and then we'll see how the year plays out before I'm not worried about next year's draft right now, unless I'm trying to tank for 1-1, which I think is stupid, because you don't know.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is,
it's like, why play if you're just going to tank? Just don't settle on
Drew. Exactly. And Drew, I would say there's 3 guys that I'm curious about that I would roster: Drew Aller, Kate Klubnik, and the QB out of Florida,
Carson Beck.
Carson Beck. And the reason I like those 3 really has nothing to do with what they did in college, because they had a better 2024 than 2025 years, but it's opportunity. So if you look at an example of like any late round QB that kind of broke out, if you will, right? So Dak Prescott, 4th round pick, he saw the field because Turner Holmes' back went out, right?
Brock Purdy.
Kirk Cousins, he saw the field because RG3's knee went out, right? Brock Purdy, he saw the field because Trey Lance was ass, but he also got injured. And I don't even know who was backing up Trey Lance, but he also got injured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Yeah, he wasn't even supposed to be on the field.
the field is important. Number one. Number two, this is more of a Carson Beck and Cade Klubnik situation. Those offenses are loaded. Arizona
Yeah.
Cardinals, you got Marv, you got Trey McBride, you got Jeremiah Love right in the backfield. You got the 2 wide receiver on the Cardinals, also very good. I'm blanking on his name.
Guy out of Stanford, Michael Wilson.
Michael Wilson, thank you. It's like, that's a loaded offense.
So just shout out our Dynasty listeners. Michael Wilson probably went 4.6, 4.7 2 years ago, on
Right.
nobody's radar. And it's like, oh, he's going to the Cardinals. He's never going to sniff the field because of who they have at wide receiver. Well, guess what? Like, injuries and shit happen. And he ended up sniffing the field and he balled out.
He balled out. And Jacoby Brissett has actually already got on record to say, like, he's not really trying to play at the whatever $8 million they're trying to pay him right now. So there may be a situation where he like holds out, who knows? And Carson Beck is just thrown into the thing. And the reason why I'm like more bullish with Carson Beck and Cade Klubnik is because they have so many reps. They played for 4 years.
Right. And it's
like
also, like you said, it's opportunity.
Because everyone's like, oh, developmental. I'm like, what is there to develop? You've had so many reps. Either you have or you don't. We'll show it. And
also these teams will be comfortable rolling these guys out because either they do well and you have a quarterback, or they do terribly and you go get a nice quarterback next year.
Exactly. So that's all I got to say there.
My only thing to counter is like, I've seen like Carson Beck, for me, it's like the opportunities there, the draft like for me, it's like I almost like him a little more than Ty Simpson. But then I remember watching him in the playoffs, and that's been my thing. Do not get disillusioned. I was saying this in December. I was like, do not get disillusioned by the draft process and all the things that could go right. Like, trust your eyes when they're in the playoffs. And this dude was throwing ducks. He was throwing ducks, and he's got the guys around him, like Malachi Toney. Like, that kid's gonna be a baller when he comes out, but if it wasn't a screen, like wide receiver screen, tight end screen, or a handoff, it's like he was struggling.
He looked a lot better at Georgia, in my opinion. His arm even looked better. So there's that. I don't know if he was injured or what happened. There's that.
But it just seemed like the timing and the decision, like, not only was the ball slow, it was everything leading up. Like, I want that gamer, like, and that's what Mendoza showed me. And, maybe Ty Simpson even had more of it. Maybe not during the playoffs because they didn't get as deep, but in the regular season. But I still like, back in the third round for, the third overall quarterback in this class, Carson Beck's a good lotto ticket. We'll see. I mean, he was a winner.
He was.
Yeah. And he played a ton of ball. You're right. All right. Last thing on NFL news, and we'll just touch on this really bit. Jawan Jennings to the Vikings. I think it's a $13 million 1 year, $13 million. Again, we're talking about overvaluing the wide receiver position.
He's fine. I don't really have much to say there. But speaking of the Vikings, QB battle potentially between JJ McCarthy and
not
Kyler
potentially,
Murray.
it's going to happen.
That's what they're saying. I'll see it when I believe it. I think JJ needs to come a pretty long way for that to be a battle, though. I'm not sure that Kyler Murray really fits the Vikings offensive system. I think KOC is going to need to adjust like he did with JJ halfway through the season. KOC has a system that, takes a while to develop the plays.
Yeah.
And it's timing based, right? And I gotta get the footwork right. I'm not sure that's Kyler Murray's style. He's kind of more like backyard football, but like I said, it's really up to the coach to adjust to the player's skill set. Right.
I'm really excited to see what Kyler brings to the table. I think he's had a lot of time to mature as an athlete. I think this is a wonderful fit for him. And I actually think it might be good for JJ to fucking sit a year behind him.
While healthy.
And then they both go to, maybe JJ stays with the Vikings and Kyler goes to a different organization, or the Vikings learn from Sam Darnold and this can be a win-win for everybody involved. But no offense to the Arizona Cardinals, they feel cursed as an organization. And for whatever reason, the Kyler situation just wasn't. He's like, I put my body on the line for this organization, and y'all don't have my back. He's got a fresh start. He was healthy last year. They just didn't play him towards the end of the year, and their coach is now gone. It seems like they didn't get along. I'm not sure. Kyler's all like, for me, I took him round 1 in the startup, and then we traded him back and forth. But like, for me, he's always been special. Like, he's just got that fucking X factor that you can't coach. And if you can't coach him well, he's still bringing that X factor. Yeah, and he wasn't motivated in Arizona towards the end, but he came out. To be honest, he came out swinging. Yeah, exactly. Because they were like, oh, there was no reason to.
We put a Call of Duty clause in his contract. Why would you say that about your starting quarterback?
Yeah, it's like you're setting him up to fail.
You've been talking smacks from the jump, so.
Excuse me? Yeah. No, I think we agree. I think a change of scenery is going to be good for him. And, like, look at that. It's not like the Cardinals are doing their dudes. So Jacoby Brissett comes and balls out. From a stats perspective, he balls out. They didn't win games. Yeah, didn't win any game. But they're like, okay, he's going to be our starter. And he's like, hey, can maybe you throw me a little more money? And they're like, nah. Yeah. So, Arizona doesn't seem like, you got to support your dudes. But, the thing I remember most about Juwan Jennings last year is, number one, he could have got $20 million from the 49ers. He turned it down. I think he's getting $8 million guaranteed. And then who is the dude? I think it was from the Bears or the Browns, the defensive tackle. And we did a segment on this midseason, and we never figured out why he said this, but he's like, I want it to be known that he's a hoe.
Yeah. No idea.
So
a little weird.
Yeah, but it seems like the perception, I talked about this during free agencies, look at when actual teams sign people. So the fact that him and David Njoku got signed after the draft should kind of show you where NFL teams actually value them. Yeah, exactly.
They want a priority signing it.
All right, NFL schedule is dropping right now. We got any news on that?
No, I looked up. It's going to drop on Thursday. So we can do it. We can do a separate Thursday.
Well, in that case, Professor and I are in 2 leagues together. Actually 3, but 2 leagues that have drafted. You want to, you got any takeaways from our rookie draft so far? Love to hear it.
So moral of the story is the earlier you draft, the more value you can get, because the community is not going to catch up. So I got Mr. Stribling end of the 3rd, I believe, in one of our leagues. And then a league that the draft started at the same day, just is taking longer. He went in the 2nd round, right? So
I traded that pick, I believe.
You did.
I've been busy. I got Rico Dottle for that pick, so and I don't own him in any dynasty leagues, and he's one of my dudes. I think he's a dog, but
he is a dog. But both leagues have been very active as far as trading. Yeah, a lot of value. I'm surprised that some of the QBs that we talked about have gone. Yeah. The only one that hasn't gone is Cade Klubnik, which is a bit bizarre to me because I don't really see Geno Smith starting the entire year. And Cade is effectively QB2, right? Unless something weird happens. Because he was a 4th round draft, right? So it's decent enough.
I mean, to your previous point, though, there's some guys that sleeper or whatever your draft, obviously we're mostly on sleeper. Shout out to them. But there's some dudes that, for whatever reason, the app doesn't have them ranked properly. Stribling would be one of them for sure.
Stribling is so undervalued.
Yeah, they had him as a 4th round pick. When again, we said on the show, the 49ers traded back, but still took him in the top of the 2nd. He went 35th, 36th overall.
He was a first pick in the 2nd round. And number 2, to your point, and to our earlier point in discussion, it's about opportunity. Juwan Jennings is no longer there.
Gone.
Brandon Ayuk is probably not going to play another down for that team.
No.
And
it's Mike Evans. It's Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall, and Stribling.
And Ricky, can you stay healthy? And Mike Evans probably not going to be there after
Mike Evans. Can Mike Evans stay healthy? I mean, Ricky Pearsall, assuming somebody doesn't shoot him again.
He's had some
but-
hammies and other stuff like that too. Like,
And same with Mike. I love Mike Evans on the show. People fucking flame me because I got emotional when he left. God forbid a man gets emotional in America.
money people.
But I mean, homie does have a lot of I saw a video of him working out, and people are like, "Oh, he looks jacked." And I'm like, "Dude, looks like he's running uphill."
The thing with Mike is that Mike, when healthy, is a wide receiver one. Pearsall is not. So even when they're both healthy, Stribling could still outproduce him. So Pearsall is not even a factor for me, to be honest. I think Pearsall went the last pick in the first round, so very similar draft capital. What has he done in 2 years?
Out of UF. But I think
Mike
Pearsall would benefit from having a guy like Stribling, wide receiver 2, and wide receiver 1. He's coming out of the slot. He's going in formation. He's not the main guy. He struggles being the number 1 on that team.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Stribling's another dude. Another guy that the 49ers in the next round that they took, Black out of Indiana, the running back, only 3rd round running back drafted. They have him dropping. There's a couple tight ends that I think they had dropped quite a bit. Guy out of New Orleans we talked about, Delp, right?
Yep, Oscar Delp.
Justin Jolly's really low for me in Denver for where they have him.
Emmett Johnson to the Chiefs. I love K9, also very injury prone, which is why he never got the lead back in Seattle. And if they split that backfield, let me tell you right now, Emmett Johnson is a better player than Zach Charbonnet, in my opinion. So if he gets similar uses that Zach was getting, that's a steal from where I'm seeing Emmett Johnson. Emmett Johnson is still available in the 3rd round in one of our drafts. I might trade up after the podcast. I might trade back
Which one?
In toe tap.
No,
Emmett Johnson.
He got pick 3 too. He gone. You saw I doubled up at RB in the middle of the 3rd.
I did.
I took my guy who's been my guy, got him in 2 drafts now, Mike Washington. I don't love the situation with Genty in front of him, but I think he's a bad man. And then I grabbed Katron Allen, who I surprised was there at 306. It's pretty good value for him.
Mm-hmm.
Another running back I'm starting, and I got him in one of our leagues, Demon Claiborne out of Wake Forest, going 6th round to the Vikings. He's got Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason in front of him, but dude's a burner. He's a burner. A lot of explosives for him. I think he's worth a dart throw in the 4th, end of the 3rd. You're gonna have to bank on some coaching though. He's got a tendency to just try to break it outside way too much, looking for that home run. And I don't think he's going to have enough touches in the NFL to get there. So he's going to have to figure out ways to pick up what the defense gives him. But yeah, I did a little scouting on him and really liked his tape. Also, he could get some reps at kick return, punt return, where if you're in a league that values that can be sneaky.
Sneaky.
Yeah. Where are we at in time? We got a little bit. Let me talk about a couple other running backs I like towards the end. We already talked about Kayleon Black, and they got him going. Sleeper has him valued below Jameer Taylor, who was undrafted free agent who's going to Jacksonville. And to be fair, I also, I watched his tape, but he's an undrafted free agent. Sleeper has him 3 running backs below. They have Kayleon Black, who got drafted in the 3rd round, 3 running backs below. You know what I mean?
It takes a while to adjust, but it also takes a while for the community to adjust because Stribling for some reason was, they haven't adjusted yet.
Right.
So,
but now is the time to take advantage of that, because what's the best indicator? The guys who are professionals and actually making the salary at the highest level, rather than, people who are passionate and do YouTube videos about it like us. I'm not going to pretend to know more than a general manager, though. That's a dumb strategy.
I will say though, I've started to dig in deep, and I was watching Kyle Shanahan talk about their draft process and how during the NFL they're just watching NFL tape about their next opponent.
Yeah,
right? And they lean on the GM a little bit. So, and the GM also doesn't necessarily have time to watch all the tape on all the players. So what they do, at least the 49ers, is basically has each
scouts.
position. He has each positional, not even so. So like as far as them deciding to pick a certain player, right? The 49ers, at least, he has each of the position coaches, so the wide receiver coach, running back coach, put a highlight tape of their top 10 guys, whatever, in their range of picks. And then Kyle will watch that. And because he doesn't actually watch the game tape. Like you watch, I know you watch game tape, I watch game tape. Highlights don't always show the full story, right? Is this guy
sure.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this guy, you know, quitting on routes and whatever, right? It's like the highlights don't always tell the story. So when I heard that, not to say that I don't trust the NFL process, it's just more so like, especially the guys in the later rounds, they don't have the time. You know, it's like, especially if it's a playoff team, season ends and then they have just a short amount of time to watch the college tape. And Kyle Shanahan said, hey, if I don't like the guy's like highlight tape, then I'm not going to go dig in further, right? So when they dig in further, they'll watch like maybe a couple games, right? But it's not like this process where they're like watching it. I think Kyle said he doesn't even know who the Heisman winner is until the Super Bowl's done.
Well, yeah, he's an NFL coach. He's dialed the fuck in. Yeah, no, he's not grinding tape like
dialed in. Yeah.
But, you know, I also trust his gut. I trust his and John Lynch's like intuition, maybe more than, you know, but at the same time, they also take some swings and they take some misses. Like, you know, Trey Lance, another guy and I think another guy that's fallen because of it is his younger brother, Bryce, at wide receiver, who we've seen go undrafted. And I think he's worth a dart throw.
I think so too. He's sneaky. Especially with Jordan Tyson's injury history.
Let me talk about a few players that I think are waiver. You know, if you've already drafted, like they're worth a dice roll. And this dude, I remember him from when we did our combine show about the 40. Xavier Thomas out of LSU. He played wideout for LSU, but he's 5'10", like a $195, runs a 4.28. And the Bears dropped this dude in the third round. The Bears.
Little DJ Moore replacement.
Not even DJ Moore replacement. They're saying that he's getting reps at running back.
Interesting.
So he might be the Gibbs to Kyle Monungai's Knuckles.
Monty,
yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Do you know Ben Johnson? We're talking about trusting people. Ben Johnson, but how is a third round skill player for the Bears who played a program? We love programs on this show, like Louisiana State University down in the Bayou. A dude that burned it at the 40 and is a third round pick, going to Ben Johnson after they just let DJ Moore and Mr. Zacchaeus walk. And basically brought nobody else in, really.
Wow. 5 hours ago. Why Bears rookie Xavier Thomas is being called Jahmyr Gibbs 2.0.
Get on that, folks.
Guys, listen, Chef is cooking right now. He's cooking.
And I'm doing it for y'all. I'm doing it for y'all because I just like showed my hand a bit. And I don't like doing that. But you know what?
Well, thank you for that.
I'm a man of the people.
LSU does pump out some amazing athletes.
Yeah, but you know, you see guys like, Chris Brazell coming out of Tennessee. Tennessee does not have. All right, I'm not gonna.
We're not gonna bash any players, but thank you for this.
How are people sleeping on it? Like you're putting 6th round, 7th round undrafted free agents ahead of him when he just went 3rd round to the Bears and he's a burner like that. Another dude who I like at wide receiver also went in the 3rd round, 75th overall to the Dolphins. A lot of people. You know, Chris Bell went to the Dolphins. He's getting high draft capital. Chris Bell's coming off a torn ACL, but they did draft another dude, and that was Caleb Douglas. And he's 6'4", over 200. Made some noise at the Senior Bowl. He was at Texas Tech. But Jalen Waddle's gone. Tyreek Hill's gone. It's a wide open receiving room for the Dolphins with Malik Willis and Devon Achane. So we're talking about 75th overall going undrafted. And then just a little callback to a couple months ago, our guy Jeff Caldwell out of Cincinnati signing with the Chiefs. You remember Jeff Caldwell, Professor? 6'5", 215, Bearcat. You know, I feel like people always we like to bet on the Chiefs because it's a good offense. There's opportunities. I think he's got at 6'5", 225 with those, I think there's an opportunity for him. It's a long shot. It's a dart throw, but
That's what we're doing at this point in the drafts.
it's a great landing spot. And last dude, really quick, Robert Henry Jr. out of the University of Texas, San Antonio.
Oh my gosh, you're deep in the research.
This is deep. I watched this man play. Angry. He was out running Jeremiah Love for a bit for the what do they call it? Roadrunners. The Roadrunners down there. But he turned it on against like Texas A&M. He turned it on against Tennessee.
It's a very good indicator if you raise your level of play against.
Yeah, especially if you're from a smaller program. If you have the ability to elevate that entire program from the running back position when people know you're getting the ball, that's how you know he's a dog. Another good indicator, this is me, I'm showing my hand, folks. Check how many comments people drop on Sleeper.
I always do that.
If some dude only has 2 comments and somebody else has 18. So this guy somebody's like next LaDainian Tomlinson.
Yo, I gotta watch this tape now.
But so he went to Washington as an undrafted free agent. Again, Katron Allen's there. Rashad White's there. Bill is there. Pretty crowded RB room. But I don't think that's a bad thing because if you got 4 guys, you don't have any guys.
Exactly. No one's a world beater.
Yeah. So like take a chance and let, the alpha or the dude will emerge. It's not a Breece Hall situation where they clearly have their dude.
Yeah.
It could be any of those guys. And Rashid White's deal is very third down backish. It's not go be the guy.
Yeah. He already proved that.
That's been his game, is he's a complimentary piece. So, this guy's 5'9", like 215, fucking rocked up. I think he ran a 4.3.
It's like a Kenneth Walker kind of build, speed, and mold.
Yeah. I mean, shit, bowling ball out there. All right, you got any? I don't know. You've been on the road, so
no, not like that. I'm not gonna. You bless them.
Okay. Well, we want to end on that.
Yeah.
We're 4 minutes. We hit our mark,
and then let's do Thursday, and we'll do like a
Thursday
draft reaction. Here's the other thing. I honestly would even hold trades unless you're getting extreme value, until after the NFL schedule. Last year, when they released the schedule and I saw the Patriots schedule, I was like, oh, Drake May is finna eat. But I didn't think he was going to be number 2 quarterback. No, but I thought he'd be top 5 because his schedule is the 5th easiest. So look to see who's getting the easier schedule, and that will dictate, partly the direction your team is going to be headed into in 2026, barring injury, right? But the Commanders had a tough schedule because they made the playoffs the year before and won the division. So you can kind of see some things play out.
That's a really good point. It's a really good point. Professor with the hit him with the angles and the logistics that.
Yeah. And if we think about like what team underperformed last year who's going to have an easy schedule but has improved play all around, right? Perhaps the Cardinals, which is again like another pro Carson Beck take. Like they were top
or
2,
pro
3?
Jacoby Brissett take.
Yeah, or pro Jacoby Brissett take.
For free.
Yeah, it's gonna be easy schedule. So, and there's a vet there. The offense is set already, etc. I'm just trying to think of another team that like underperformed that had let me pull this up real quick.
Both your New York teams, probably.
Yeah, actually the Giants. There you go. Honestly, Kyle Shea investment, I would put money on the Giants winning the division, maybe even making it to the NFC Championship. I would.
Yeah, this duo of I've seen Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo out there. Again, Cam we didn't go in too hard on Jackson Dart as a prospect, but we were both fucking spot on with Scatterboo.
Mm-hmm.
And again, college
football
playoffs don't lie. Dude put that team on, put ASU on his back.
He looked phenomenal.
Yeah, on his back. Well, he didn't look phenomenal because he was covered in blood and he was beat the fuck up and he was still running over dudes. But yeah, that's the kind of. It's like people from December to May, people forget about that, and it's all about combine and measurables and interviews and shit like that. But like, remember what they did when the lights were on.
Exactly.
Let's Let's play it out. Safe travels, Professor. Good show.
Thank you. I'll see you before I travel back Thursday. So
sounds
until
good.
then.
Yeah. We got a schedule coming out. We'll have some more sleepers for you. Oh, and for our folks who are getting into Dynasty for the first time, we're going to have some startup advice. How you build your team when everyone's available. So new Dynasty players, we got you.
We got you. Peace out, man.
The world's most dangerous fantasy football podcast.
Chef and the professor. Highly disputed. Highly disputed. Let's have a drink.